Welcome to the post-production camps. This is another video that we're going to work in Lightroom and Photoshop. This is a favourite photo from later last year actually, and we've had so many people contact us asking if the zebra that we photographed previously was real, and of course it was, but so we did a little joke on ourselves and we painted Bella the horse into a zebra. So we're going to work on this. Now this is the first click, one of the first clicks within the shoot, and we hadn't put in the reflector, which we're going to put to my right, just to bring in some light back there. It was fairly bright, and as you can see, and I hadn't even set up my settings, so this is one of those photos that we really can work on, which is great. If you wanted to see the exposure, you can see that I was after. You can see over there in the top left hand corner another one. And that was the exposure that I was kind of more after. Okay, so, and even in there, just scrolling through in the top left-hand corner. So, let's go to this photo. Now, first of all, in the develop window, we'll just simply make sure it's full screen. I'm going to grab the adjustment brush and I'm going to lighten her up, of course. Now, that's too much. Now, I mentioned before, I tend to not go over a stop if I have to lighten in Lightroom. Over a stop, then I'll ditch the file. So this is needing quite a bit of lightening. And I'm just going to lighten her legs as well. There we go. And even the stool a little bit. Probably not so much. Alright, okay, so I'm happy with that already. One thing I do need to do is lighten up these stripes. Now when we put her into the horse trailer, she rubbed up against the edge of it and she smudged her paint. Bella. So that's what happened here. Okay, so I'm just going to also lighten the horse a little bit. In the whites, just quickly. Want her to stand out. She's a beautiful horse. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I do want to grab another adjustment brush. Oh, new. Make it rather big. I just want to lighten these areas here. Make it a smaller brush and get in here and lighten in here too. So I don't want that scene to be so obvious behind, and that's why I'm doing it. Okay. Now if you make a mistake, so for example I just accidentally painted her legs, you can just press on the erase tool and paint back over and it gets rid of it. Okay, so now a new adjustment brush, and I'm going to warm up this area back here and in here and over there. Okay, and again, erase tool. Didn't mean to warm up Bella's legs or tummy. Okay. Now, I am going to go down to the temperature and raise the temperature on the whole image and warm them up. Voila! Okay. Now if I go to highlights, drag that down, and whites and drag that down, it should bring out detail back into the sky, and it has. If you look at our histogram here, we now have no blowouts, and I'm just going to raise the exposure a touch. Alright, so that is done in Lightroom, and we'll take that into Photoshop and work on it further, but there's a before and after, and see you in Photoshop. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop with this file that we've just worked in Lightroom. Now what I want to do is actually extend the background and make it into a square, which I've done so here in this file. What I want to do is actually take the file, I'm just going to drag it across and do it over the top so that you can see how I did it. Okay. Alright. And all I did, we'll turn this background layer off, is I've grabbed the sky. Now there's so many different ways of doing this, honestly. You could do a fill layer, or you could do whatever you like, but I actually prefer to stretch it, and all I'm going to do is just grab that, Control J, so I've grabbed the sky here, and edit free transform, and I'm just going to stretch that up. Now I'm actually going to stretch it past where I need to, even that way as well, and that way as well, because it did have a little bit of a feather on it. Okay, let's bring this back in, and I'll just grab make that a mask, grab the black brush, and I'm going to raise it off 100% on the ground. Oop. Okay. Great. And that's exactly how I extended the sky out. So it was as if that sky was already like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to Control J, duplicate those, Control E to merge them, and now we've got a new background layer. And I'll put all the other ones into the background and stripes folder that we have here. Now this is an actual working file, and you'll see why it is in a minute, but there's before I extended the sky and there's after. Now what I want to do is add stripes. So I'm just going to show you how I do it, but as you can see from this folder, I've actually done some where I've added extra in already, just so you don't have to sit through it. But we're going to grab the lasso tool, usually on about 10, simply lasso, Control C, Control V, and it's given me the stripe. And all I've done is edit free transform, is transform that into the spot and erase back on areas that I don't want it. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect. The reason being it's because she painted it on there, obviously. Well, you know what I mean. so I'm not after a perfect stripe at all. We're not trying to make this look like it really is a zebra. Okay. Alright, so that's how I've added in stripes. Now let's have a look at when I've added in all the stripes. Okay, so here it is. Alright. Alright, so now what I want to do is grab these layers and duplicate them. This is just for my own records. Control E to merge them together. Now I do this again just so I've got the background there. I actually like to start on a new background. That's for how I prefer to do it. Now there are so many different ways of doing it, so this is just what I'm going to do. So this is now my working background. Alright. So I'll turn all these off. Alright, so now it's just a matter of cleaning this up. I'm going to simply lasso the horse with its new stripes. It can be a messy lasso, that's fine. Okay, Control J to duplicate it. Actually, you know what we should do? I might make a mask out of that. I'm going to simply make a selective color mask, and I'm going to go to blacks and darken those black areas up, and let's go to whites and lighten the whites a little bit. So I've made the horse more obvious just slightly. Okay, so now I am going to grab a curves over the top and lighten the whole image just very, very, very slightly. And I'd need to warm this image up. So I'm going to go to a photo filter, add in a little bit of yellow to that actually. There we go. And raise the opacity of that, or the density, to 75%. And I'm going to grab a black brush and just erase off on her a little bit and the horse, because that horse still needs to be the right colour. And I'll reduce the opacity of that down. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab a hue saturation mask, go over the top, and saturate it all up. Alright, now, there are some blues in here that I'd like to get rid of. So again, I'm simply going to do a messy lasso, go to hue saturation, and pull down blues, and desaturate. There's some blues that were in the way. And let's desaturate the cyans as well, because that horse has some cyans and blues on it that I don't particularly like. Okay, voila. And last but not least, I'm just going to grab with a 12 pixel the brush and the tin, and do a contrast, add contrast to those so that it's more obvious what she's got. Okay, so now I've got all these layers here. I'm going to Control J, duplicate them, Control E to merge them, and we'll run a portraiture over the top with a warmth attached. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so all I'm going to do is click on her skin, and my warmth is up +5, and I've on a default threshold. Press OK, and we're done. So while we're waiting for that to play, all it's going to do is add a little bit of warmth and soften her up a little bit. Thanks so much for following along with this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun playing with Bella, the zebra, and this sweet little girl. Let's go back to the Lightroom version. So here's the before Lightroom, here's after Lightroom, and here's the done file. And see you in the next video. Enjoy.